Hi there, welcome back to the Quality Connect YouTube channel. My name is Trevor and this is Andrew Wellwood, who is the founder and the brain master behind Quality Connect. And today's topic is going to be Infill Homes, Edmonton, and we're going to be talking about winter builds.
Yes.
Talking about winter builds. So
yeah, that time of year.
That's that time of year coming up, and doing things in the winter is much different than doing them in the summer or the fair weather days.
Yeah, not only for building, but obviously everything. You'll warm up your car, shovel walks. A lot more fun in the winter.
Oh yeah, a lot more excitement and things to deal with in the wintertime.
Yeah.
So here's a quote from Steve Harvey. He says, "A person has to remember that the road to success is always under construction, and you have to get that through your head. It's not easy becoming successful." And you know that as a builder, as well as someone who is creating a new web application. The road to success is very long and drawn out, especially when you're bootstrapping that company from scratch.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun on my end, and it takes a lot of understanding by my family and people on my end. But yeah, if you want to become a successful home builder, you are going to have to build in the winter, and construction's not a seasonal business. I know, talking with some banks, they always consider construction a seasonal business. Don't get me wrong, I would love to only work in the summer and take the entire winter off to go bouncing from mountain to mountain, skiing around, but that's just not the case. And if you're starting off a new home building company, you're not going to be able to grow a successful company and take the winters off. It's just
just not going to happen.
And if you do figure out how to do it, please let me know, because I would love to work 4 months of the year.
Great. So I'll ask you the first question, Andrew, that we have today. So is there a big difference between building in summer versus building in the wintertime?
There is a difference. Big difference, small difference. I guess it depends on how you scale it. Obviously, once you're inside the house, there's no difference. Paint is paint, flooring is flooring. The difference on that is you're going to have to pay to heat that house. But really, you're going to have to pay to heat your own house anyways. Like at home, I have the furnace on because it's cold inside. So, on my sites right now, we have the furnace on because we need it warm for taping and paint and everything like that. The biggest difference for the winter build versus summer build is getting out of the ground. You can't pour concrete on frozen ground, so you have to have your cribber and your excavator scheduled properly so that it's excavated, footings are in and poured on freshly excavated soil before it freezes. Get it tarped. Same thing, get your cribbing done, get it tarped, get your basement heated. That's the main thing. Sometimes your excavation cost is going to be a lot larger because you're going to have to rip, they call it ripping, rip the frost out. So they don't come in with a big bucket, they come in with basically a hook. Mm-hmm. They shred up all of the frozen ground and they start digging from there. So you'll have cost for that. But other than that, framers work in the cold, they complain, but they work in the cold. Roofers work in the cold, they complain, but they work in the cold. Basically everybody works in the cold and will complain about it while doing it.
Yes, so, the whole time.
Just so you know, they will say, "Oh, I don't like this, this isn't right." And I'm like, yeah, suck it up and do it.
Welcome to Canada.
Welcome to Canada, yeah. If you don't want to work in the cold, you are in the wrong country.
Absolutely. So the next question I have for you is, so what areas of a build are affected the most when you're doing an infill home in Edmonton during the winter time?
Like I said, getting out of the ground. So doing your excavation with the frozen ground, pouring your concrete, getting your cribbing done, all of that is most affected. Mm-hmm. And then you'll have seasonal items. So if you've got a driveway, you're not pouring the driveway, you're not pouring the front steps. That adds to a lot of it. If you're doing stucco, they've got to tarp the entire house and heat it. Those are the main areas that are affected. It's actually better to frame your house in the winter than it is the summer because of moisture content. You're not adding moisture into the house. Yeah, you'll get a foot of snow in your living room, but you shovel it out and it's outside of the house. You're not adding that moisture into the lumber. So it's actually better for your house to have it framed in the winter. No framer will ever tell you that because no framer likes to work in -20. We all like the +20. Shingles go on in the winter. They do need to bake in So they do need the heat of the sun for the shingles to seal properly. So you will have a little bit of, if you put your shingles on in -20 and then you get a windstorm, you will probably have some blow off. It's just normal, a sunny day in -25 is not warm enough to bake your shingles on.
No, it's still -25.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll have certain areas like that, but once you get out of the ground and you get it sealed off and tarped off, it's just like building in the summer. You just have to shovel the walks to get into the house.
Yes, that's all.
Yeah,
dealing with ice and snow, no big deal.
Yeah.
So how much can it add to the build working in the winter as opposed to the warmer months?
I guess that depends on how aggressively you want to heat. I've gone through some sites where they wanted to heat the foundation, heat the garage, and thaw it out at any cost. It was -30, and they were determined to thaw out the front attached garage without any insulation in there. They had 2 heaters going, 2 propane heaters, one in the garage and one in the basement, hooked up to a pig tank. And they were filling that pig tank every second day. And it was costing them probably about $250 to fill that tank every 2 days. And they had it going for 2 months to thaw it out. So that added some cost to their
that would add some cost to
their build. Like I said, the excavation. Most of your cost building in the winter comes from heating. Concrete, you're gonna have to add calcium to it so that it can handle being poured in the cold. That's not adding that much of a cost. The main cost is heating the house. Your excavator for ripping it, and that's about it. That's your only major cost for building in the winter. And then added on in the heating, if you've got a stucco guy, if you've got a good stucco guy, he's going to tarp the entire house, and he's going to have heaters running in there full time because it can't freeze, and it has to stay, I believe, around +5. I probably should check that out. A good stucco guy will know. So he's going to have heaters running in there full time.
Yeah.
And he's not eating that cost. He's passing that cost on to you.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
You're welcome.
Yeah, exactly. Sharing is caring, right?
Yeah, sharing is caring.
Sharing.
So what is the biggest problem that would happen if you don't heat up your concrete?
Well, if you get frost underneath your concrete, you get what's called frost heaving. So it's when moisture goes underneath the concrete, freezes, expands, draws more moisture, and it lifts up your house, causing your concrete to crack, drywall to crack, basically causing everything to crack. And it takes about a 7-story building. For the weight of a 7-story building will counteract the weight or the strength of frost heaving. So if you think, no, I'm doing a 2-story, it's going to be a massive house, it doesn't matter. No, frost heaving will lift your building up, and then you've got to get it out. So you've got a house that's going up and down and up and down, and you've got to get that frost out of there, or you have to underpin your house. You're looking at a world of hurt if you start getting frost heaving, cracking your foundation, moving your house around.
Yes.
So that's the main problem. Concrete, if it freezes before it's properly cured, affects the structural integrity of the concrete. So you can get it starting to flake or chip away. And we've seen that on not our houses, but a couple that we've gone out to try and help, where they tried to build the house themselves, and they drew it out over the span of 3 years. One of our crews came in to frame it. The foundation had been sitting for 2 years open, and we ended up having to add piles in the basement to basically support the house with a load-bearing frost wall because the concrete foundation was useless.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have to do things in the right order and get the right trades on your job. That's why you need to consider using Quality Connect for all of your builds, because all of the trades are fully vetted and licensed and insured. Now, you can't guarantee that every company that is on the Quality Connect website does excellent work, but we do a pretty good job looking at the background and checking references of companies with Quality Connect. Isn't that right?
That is, yeah. And every company, you search any company out, any quality company is going to have a couple hiccups, couple jobs that just don't go right. That happens in every industry, everywhere around the world, in everything. But what we look for with Quality Connect is how they deal with that issue. So things happen. You get a new crew guy, you get a guy on having a bad day, he does a poor job. It happens. House gets insulated with the wrong insulation, mix up in paperwork. It was done with R22 instead of Roxol 22. It's how they deal with it. Do they show up? Are they fighting with you? Are they arguing with you? You're like, oh no, just take it. Or they, own up. You know what? We made a mistake. We will fix it, apologize, and move forward. And that's what we look for. We're not looking for companies that have a 100% track record for 35 years. You're just not going to find that. I'm sorry. That's not like we hold our trades and our companies to high standards, but we don't hold them to impossible standards. What we look for is how they deal with it. So
yeah, no, that's really good. So the next question I have is, how does building in different seasons affect the quality of the house?
Well, the frost heave is what really messes up the winter, but like I said, it's really good because low moisture content. Framing a house in spring and fall and the summer, if you're doing it this year in Edmonton, you get a lot of rain, and water doesn't work well with rain. OSB swells, plywood swells. Some people swear one is better than the other. You stick them both underwater, they're both garbage.
Yeah.
So you want to keep your house dry. Moisture is bad. Moisture in wood rots wood, adds mold. I mean, everybody knows what mold does. I don't need to explain that one. If you don't Google it, figure it out.
Google black mold.
Google, there you go. That's why you don't want moisture in your house. So it needs to dry out prior to you sealing everything off, prior to insulating and vapor barriering and sealing it off. Shingles go better off in the summer than the winter because they get a chance to bake on. Building in the summer is easier for concrete because you don't have to add the calcium, you don't have to tarp it, you don't have to heat it. You can pour everything all at once. You get your sidewalks, your driveways, all of that stuff done nice and easy, moved in. That's pretty much it. Siding's easier to do in the summer, but that's the sider's issue.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about siders.
Yeah. You guys work in the snow and the wind and the rain.
Yeah, in the summer, you can cut it a lot easier. In the winter, you can't. It just chips away for vinyl siding. So there's different areas that are affected with different times of the year. It just is what it is. Building is building. You're just going to have to suck it up and do it. Things also take longer in the winter. So you work sun up to sundown. Congratulations, you only work 7 hours today. So working outside, things need to warm up. Your machines need to warm up. Your tools need to warm up. You need constant breaks. Like Tim Hortons thrives in the winter because all the crews take 7 coffee breaks.
Yeah.
So your build times will be longer in the winter. That's just the way it is. Unless you've got a crew that's willing to work by lights. But most crews, when things start getting dark, if they're an exterior crew, they're wrapping up. They're not working by headlights. So it's a slower build time in the winter, and you just have to accept that, and you just have to talk with your crews. How long is this going to take you? Schedule accordingly.
Yeah. And the best thing that you can do is get good quality builders and good quality trades that understand all the different aspects of working in the summer versus working in the winter, and how to adjust for the climate that happens when you're building. So best thing to do is get in touch with Andrew at QualityConnect.ca and sign up for the program. Right now it's free for your first month, and then after that it's a low monthly fee just to get connected with all the right builders. So if you are someone who is getting into construction or needs a small job done, you can find all of the quality trades that you need at Quality Connect. And especially we like the Infill homes in Edmonton because they are really the reason why you started the company in the first place.
Yes.
Because people need help with getting quality trades.
Yes, definitely.
Cool. Well, we'll see you guys on the next one. This has been fun. Take care.